I've been ordained to offer exclusively the traditional Latin Mass.
The conditions under which people are living.
I really tried to distance myself from religious life.
It's just my desire to be a catechist.
Go back to reality and see what's on our table. It's quite depressing.
I am Sr Felistas Chiginya, coming from Chirumanzu, Gweru Diocese. I come from a Catholic family, and especially from my grandmother's side. As you know, Chirumanzu was very famous for religious people. Every other family or household had a child, a son, a daughter who is a religious. So the same thing happens in my grandmother's family. I grew up knowing a lot of religious people that came from my grandmother's family. Majority of these joined the SGI, others joined priesthood. And my own uncle, yes, he was a bishop. And as I was growing up, I really tried to distance myself from religious life. I'm a Catholic, very committed, but I simply did not blend in well with the idea of joining religious life, because for most of the part, when those nieces and relatives of my grandmother, when they would come home, they would then say, you people, you think you want only to have a bishop in your family, only one person, a religious in your family. What about you young girls and boys? Why not join religious life? And for that reason, I really used to run away from them. I simply was not attracted to religious life because of some of those comments. But eventually, when I finished my O-levels, I moved to Harare. And I started staying with my aunt in Highfield. The nearest people that I had in terms of religious life were the LCBO sisters. So one of the sisters used to come visiting young girls from the parish during the week, and also talking about, the possibility of becoming sisters, becoming priests or brothers. So whenever I knew she was coming around, I would run away. Something definitely was happening, and then I vocalized it. So first of all, I applied with the SGI sisters. Just wanted to go and try and see how they are living their life. So I then got an invitation to come for the come and see. And at this time, I was closely interacting with my elder sister. So I told her, I applied with the SGI sisters. They've invited me for a come and see. Then she said, no, Feli, that's okay, but the best would be, from the little knowledge that she had, she said the best is you don't just go and visit one congregation. If you have the chance, visit more other congregations for what they call come and see. And then after that, you can make a decision, see where you can best serve the Lord. So as I look back, and I think my sister, she's late, I think she was very instrumental in as far as maybe this journey is concerned. So then I applied with the Dominicans. I never then managed to go out for the come and say with the SGI sisters, but those are the sisters that I had known. Not that there was anything wrong about them. If also I speak about my journey as a religious, those are the people from where I got a lot of support, because I've got Vanambuya, Vanatete. From there, they've really supported me throughout, whenever I needed that support. 2 years ago, I joined Emerald, coming from the novitiate. I had been told there's a need in the children's home. I had never ever dreamt that I would spend my time with children, because I feel quite useless with children. But because there was a need, and I said, okay, let me use the opportunity. I came here, it was in 2020, and I was assigned to the children's home. So I joined anywhere where I was needed to help with the teaching. We have about 90 children, but the number is less because others are living outside the institution. But but we still support them. But for those that are here, I was helping out, teaching, and then just taking care of the children, playing with the children, just trying to be creative on how to spend the time with the children. So initially it was very, very tough for me because I felt quite useless. I am not as creative, but one thing that actually helped me was to look at what other caregivers are doing with the children. Being creative, playing with them, or even just following them where they are, doing the things that the children like to do. And I think that was, for me, a starting point. So even though I feel sometimes I'm not creative, I'm not able to do what the children are doing, I think I later on learned that it's the quality of presence that I give to the children. I look for them where they are, and I do the things that they are doing. And also I try to be creative after learning from the caregivers, playing games, doing sports, if they are cooking, if they are doing their mahumbwe, I also join that. If I have something to do in the garden, I invite them. If I'm feeding the rabbits, I invite them. When children come to the children's home, social welfare, usually, they then, maybe during the first 3 weeks, they try to do the traces. Where are these children coming from? But because of the economic situation in our country, they are not even able to do those traces. So we have a huge backlog of children who we don't know where they come. So we try then to do traces, and I think that has been one of my passions. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunate enough, the home indicated we don't have a social worker. I then last year started off my studies with the University of Zimbabwe. So I'm a full-time student. But when I come back from work, in the evening I join the children. They're watching TV, if they are doing games, if they are doing art, I join them. And then eventually I do bedtime stories until they go to bed, and we meet the following day. So I think much of my time I spend it in school, but over the weekend and towards the end of the day, I join the children. At that time in Zambia, and even here in Zimbabwe in the formation house, it helped me to deepen my relationship with the one who called me, who is the source of my vocation. And so, as I moved from the novitiate coming to the children's home here at Emerald Hill, I've never stopped knowing that the one who has called me is the one who is sending me. I've simply realized the need to continue to deepen that relationship, to remain tied to Christ. So prayer life for me is key, is one thing that is sitting right at the core. I know sometimes the work that I'm doing, working with the children, is very tiring. Sometimes I'm really tired. But I still believe after work, the best place for me to pass through is this place. If I'm tired, if it means I'm coming here to doze off, for me that doesn't matter. I just place myself in the presence of God, and I try also to keep nurturing that relationship with Christ through prayer, through reading materials, and that help me to remain focused. But also there is another thing, community life. I find a lot of support from my sisters. Like I indicated at the beginning, it was very difficult for me to adjust from novitiate life, quiet life, to a time of noise. I remember the first few weeks, I even used to have these episodes where my head would twist and turn, and I would almost literally scream. I had to hold onto the walls because of the noise. And I was trying then to say, Lord, if it were you placed in these children's home, how would you have saved these children? And I think we are very lucky here. We have got Sister Gabriel, who has been running this home for years. So in between, I would ask, Sister, this for me is very tough. Then she told me, Felistas, all you need to do for these children is to love them. So coming back from work and sitting with my sisters, sharing my experiences, I found a lot of support. And one thing then I understood, apart from giving children quality presents, I think all I needed to do is love them. And this is what I do. I love those children. I go for holidays and they follow me. I love them. They are just dear. Very difficult because I think they are also coming from an environment where they've been traumatized. They've gone through a lot as children, so that to hold themselves and adjust to a life in the home coming from wherever, I think they are fighting certain battles that we don't realize, and all they need is our presence. They need us to love them as they are. And after sister told me that, for me, yeah, I love them, and they are precious beings. Once I attended the workshop where at the celebration center where you have got this program running, you have got professionals that come and they talk about adoption and fostering. And I think we have people from that church who do adopt children, who take children for foster. But from within our own church, I don't know, I've not heard, maybe it's happening, where we have people who pledge to help us raise these children, maybe not just by giving us in terms of what we need, but also coming through to give these children an opportunity to grow from amongst families. I think these children need to be entrained in families so that they get to realize what family life is like. This is quite artificial, and it's the last place that I would want a child to be placed, in a home. So if there is a family out there where people would want to take in some children just for holiday or even for weekend, but I think as Africans, we do have certain beliefs that to take in a stranger into your own house. Yeah, there are certain things that are some spirits associated with that. What if they give me problems and all that? But I think being a Christian for me has taught me to rise above all those beliefs. I can take care of anyone. So it's getting families that would sacrifice to take these children into their own families and get them to experience what family life is, which is what they have not had. We have individuals, we have got companies that have been journeying with us, and I think it is just right that maybe these people know we are very grateful. We are very, very grateful. We couldn't run the home without them. There was never a time when the Lord stopped calling people. I think the Lord is knocking at the hearts of many young men and women. But what is needed is to gather courage. It's not about what they find here, for me, because oftentimes we break down when that which we thought was attracting us is removed. But it's to do with what is within one. And I want to believe it's all to do with gathering courage, responding to that voice, and do what is right. And go where the Lord is calling you. We are human beings. We are not perfect. We don't always do things right. Those of us who are in religious life. So probably someone will look at me and say, is this what religious life is all about? It's not about me. It's about your calling. Dare to respond and dare to do that which is right.